How to get promoted without the burnout and without the stress. In part one of this video, we talked about how victim mindset may be keeping you from getting promoted on your job. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 principles and beliefs that I personally adopted that have helped me to advance in the workplace without constantly feeling stressed, constantly being burned out, without having to plot and scheme and throw people under the bus. I'm going to share with you how I have been able to advance in my career with ease and how you can too. So the first principle is your promotion does not come from people. Psalm 75 verses 6 through 9 reads, "For promotion neither comes from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. It is God alone who judges, and he decides who will rise and who will fall." One of the things that has continuously given me peace in my career is knowing that people did not put me in my position and people are not going to be able to push me out of my position. It is God alone who opened doors for me to get in the position that I'm in, and I'm not going anywhere until God has something else for me that he wants me to move on to. I have truly gotten to the place where I believe my promotion does not come from people. It is God who is ultimately going to decide whether I advance or not. And that gives me a lot of peace and keeps me from stressing. Because when you are still believing that it's going to be your supervisor or manager or the president of the company who holds your professional destiny in their hands, it is going to likely lead you to stressing, people pleasing, trying to win the favor of the boss. You need to be settled in and confidently believe it is God who promotes. He is going to determine whether you advance or not. And it doesn't matter who may be conspiring against you, trying to push you out of position, or trying to keep you from advancing. It is not going to work. I like to look at the story in the Bible of Joseph. Joseph's brothers, they came together and they were conspiring against him. They plotted and sold him into slavery, thinking that it was going to lead to his destruction. But it definitely did not. It simply set Joseph up to gain more power, more influence, more prosperity. So even when people may try to conspire against you in the workplace or try to prevent you from advancing, if it is God's perfect will for you to advance on that job, there's no man, no woman, no human being, no demon in hell that is going to keep you from advancing. The second principle that I've applied that has helped me to advance in the workplace with ease is be patient with yourself. Take the time to gain the skills and experience that you will need for the job that you want in the future. Proverbs 22:24 says, "A man who is skillful and experienced in his work will stand before kings, not before obscure men." I know from my own personal story, my first job out of college, I was working in the basement of a rundown building in an underinvested in neighborhood. I was doing community organizing. And I remember before I accepted that job, I was praying, like, what should my next steps be after I graduate from college? And I believe I heard the Lord clearly tell me to seek the lowly places. And if you could have seen the office that I worked out of with that job and the salary that I was making, you would definitely agree it was a lowly place. But I gained so many skills and experience that set me up in my career from that job. So be patient with yourself. Sometimes, if necessary, seek the lowly places so that you can gain the skills and experiences that you need so that you will be set up to advance in your career. And like the scripture says, stand before kings, people of influence, people of power. The third principle and belief that I adopted is related to principle 1. Now, principle 1, as I said before, is knowing that promotion comes from God, not people. Well, if you know God is the one who promotes, then you need to know who God chooses to promote or to exalt. And that's principle 3. James 4:10 reads, "Humble yourselves in the presence of the Lord, and he will exalt you." Principle 3 is keep it humble. Stay humble before God. Now, don't get it twisted. I am not telling you to dim your light. I'm not telling you to downplay yourself in front of other people, to pretend to be less knowledgeable than you are, to not lift up your accomplishments in front of people. I'm not saying that at all. Scripture says to humble yourself before God, not play small before men. Humbling yourself before God is simply keep your heart in a humble position where you're yielded to the leading and guidance of God, because He's going to be the one that equips you to navigate the workplace without constantly being stressed, without your health deteriorating. So keep your heart humble before God. That's principle 3. Principle 4, and the belief that I have adopted, is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. If you have aspirations of being the CEO of your company, the executive director, whatever your future aspirations are, don't wait until you earn the promotion or get promoted to start preparing for that position. You want to be in leadership? Start reading books now on leadership. You want to be a manager? Start reading books about being a manager, about being a visionary. Whatever it is, whatever position that you want in the future, start preparing now, so that when you do get that promotion, you don't end up feeling like an imposter because you have not done the work to prepare for that position, because you were too focused on just doing your current job well. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. The fifth and final principle and belief that I adopted that has helped me to advance in the workplace with ease is seek divine wisdom. Don't try to navigate the workplace using your own insights and intelligence. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6 read, "Trust in and rely confidently on the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight and understanding. In all your ways, know and acknowledge and recognize Him, and He will make your paths smooth and straight." The reality is there's just going to be things that you don't know. And if you're trying to just completely rely on your own intelligence and your own wisdom to navigate the workplace, you're going to come up short many times. I'll give you an example of where I had to really tap into divine wisdom, and it helped to put me on an incredible trajectory in my career. So there was a point in time in my life where I was unemployed for 2 years. I was basically surviving off of unemployment checks and food stamps. And during that time, I believe the Lord spoke to me and told me the salary that I would earn on the next job that I would get. So I was like, okay, all right, that's the salary, got it. Well, in the meantime, I had been offered 2 jobs, but those jobs were not offering me a salary that was, well, the salary was similar, but those 2 jobs were not offering me the salary that I had heard from the Lord would be my next salary. And so eventually I end up applying for a job and receiving an offer, and it matched the number that the Lord had told me to the penny. Now, let me be clear. I do not think the Lord was telling me the salary because it was really significant, because in all actuality, the salary was pretty small, and it's like, yeah, it was just really small. So I don't think that it was about the number of the salary, but what I think it was, the Lord wanted me to be able to identify the job that He wanted me to accept. And I did accept that job, and the relationships and connections that I built as a result of that job has put me in position to be where I am today. And so I would not have known not to accept the previous jobs if I hadn't tapped into and prayed and trusted what I was hearing from the Lord. So sometimes you can't just rely on your own insights and understanding. You gotta go to the one who is all-knowing. So that is principle 5. Don't just rely on your own insights. Tap into the one who is greater than you. So I want to close today's video by acknowledging that people do advance in the workplace without applying and adopting these principles and beliefs. They do it all the time. But how? And what do they sacrifice? See, I am a certified neuroscience life and career coach, and I teach people to advance in the workplace without having to neglect their families, without having to neglect their health and well-being, without having to throw people under the bus, without having to compromise their morals and values, without having to sacrifice their health and see that deteriorate and constantly deal with burnout. I teach people to advance in the workplace, incorporating mindset development so that you're in the right mental state. You're not dealing with things like victim mentality. I incorporate neuroscience into my coaching so you understand how the brain was created to function and you can use that to your advantage to accomplish your goals. And I incorporate faith into my coaching practice because I don't want you to gain the promotion, but then you neglect your family, you neglect your children, you neglect your personal life. You've done everything just to advance. I want you to advance and experience promotion with ease. Here's one of my favorite scriptures. It's Proverbs 10:22. It reads, "The blessings of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it." You can gain promotion without having to work day and night, and getting 3.5 hours of sleep. You can. And those are the type of strategies that I teach people that I coach. If you're interested in finding out more about working with me as a coach, I'm going to leave my information in the description box. I'm so happy that I was able to share this information with you today, and I hope that you subscribe to the channel and you share this video with an overworked, stressed out, burnt out friend. Look forward to talking to you in the next video.